Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Joanne, I'm a law student in Australia, and I want to welcome you to my channel. If you're new here, we talk about everything and anything, and we have been following, there's a few things that have been happening. In particular, we've been following the defamation case that Bruce Lehrmann took against 10 Media and Lisa Wilkinson, which he recently lost. And it is a gift. Hello, Peter. It is a gift that keeps on giving. We're going to find out why. Because now the Australian Federal Police are investigating as well. And the court documents have revealed some very interesting things as to why you should probably... Oops, I've just lost my camera. Oh, there we go. I just fell. Why we should actually settle, why you should actually at all times try and settle, because he was offered an opportunity to walk away, and now he's going to be, they're talking about being bankrupt. We've got the East Safety Commissioner take X or Twitter to court. They've actually just won an injunction over a video that was appeared on X. The person that was in that video, actually, it was the stabbing of the priest during the live stream video church service. The priest there came out and took the support of X and said, please leave it up. But the government or the East Safety Commissioner has won a temporary injunction to have it removed. So now we get into freedom of speech issues and all sorts of other implications. They now have to go back to court in May. And of course, Katie Joy, she's been quiet for the last few days, but she's brought out her shield. And there was somebody in the Discord today that had a theory, which I had actually thought about as well. And I am wondering whether she's starting to set things up so that she can use the excuse she can't appear in court in person. Just a theory. So where do we start? And tomorrow's a public holiday in Australia. It is Anzac Day, which is the Australian New Zealand Army Corps. It is the day that celebrates the landing of troops, the Australian New Zealand troops in Gallipoli in the First World War. And where they landed in Gallipoli, many thousands of lives were lost on that day. And so it's the day that we set aside that day to commemorate. And interestingly, it's still one of the few times in Australia where supermarkets and shops are shut out of respect. In fact, the morning, nothing's open. From about 12 o'clock onwards, everything starts slowly winding up. And sports now played after lunch, but it's definitely everything's closed in the morning to pay respects. There are some states, I think Queensland and Western Australia, still have all their shops closed that day. And there's so sporting events and everything go on. But it's a lot of people say the least we can do is stop and remember. There's also dawn services, so it also gives people the opportunity to go to parades and go and to celebrate and remember and pay tribute to our heroes, and also to say thank you to our current serving forces. And I think it's a really good day, and I hope it never changes. So so tomorrow is a public holiday, and then the school that I work on Friday, they've given their students a day off, so I got Friday off. Peter says, I hope KJ watches what happens in BL in regards to using evidence for fodder. This is why 7M doesn't want her to have this. They're correct. I mean, if that's right. But see, interestingly, the judge, 7M said that some of that stuff was under seal or protected, and she publicated it. Well, one of the things she may have to do is exactly what's happened here, is to indicate how she got it. Now, I'm not sure whether if the Australian Federal Police discovered that Bruce Lehrmann did leak it to Channel 7, whether then Channel 7 are then responsible for sharing information that was illegal, that should not have been obtained. Now, they're saying that there's something here to say that he could be up for $10 million in penalty. $10 million. And to think he could have walked away. He could have just walked away with whatever. And I believe that some of his work was pro bono, so he would have walked away with limited costs, I guess. But police are reviewing how the image of Brittany Higgins' text obtained by the network ahead of the Lehrmann interview. So this is what the judge found, that the only way the network could have got this confidential information was from Bruce Lehrmann. So let's have a look here.
Hello, sorry, late call up. Jane Norman from the ABC. Commissioner Kershaw, I've got a question about the Brittany Higgins case. Obviously, we've now had the defamation hearing closed, but the text messages that were involved in the criminal trials, they were subpoenaed, Brittany Higgins's text messages subpoenaed as part of the criminal trial, never actually presented in court, somehow landed in the hands of Channel 7 Spotlight program. I was wondering if you can confirm if this is under investigation by the AFP, and if so, when you might expect to have a conclusion on that case.
Yeah, I've seen reports of that. We are reviewing that material and that case as we speak.
So is it under investigation, or are you considering whether to investigate?
It's for us, it wouldn't, without me getting technical, it's not an investigation. It would be reviewing the material to see if there's a threshold for an investigation. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, so they're looking to see whether an investigation is needed. Oh, hello, Sharon. What a great surprise. Yes, Peter said it was only $10K for the massage. He should have stopped there. That's right. He should have stopped there. I have to say, one of the biggest things is everyone found out that he had these $10,000 massages. Everyone's making joke about these 10K massages. So they're reviewing how the text messages came. So last week, Federal Court Justice Michael Lee ruled that on the balance of probabilities, Mr. Lehrmann argued Ms. Higgins at Parliament House in 2019. He made the ruling as part of a defamation case against Network 10 and journalist Lisa Wilkinson over an interview she conducted with Ms. Higgins. The other thing is, if we want to talk about KJ paying attention, is that Channel 10, Channel 10 and Lisa Wilkinson, one of their things was the truth defense, and they were able to show on the balance of probabilities that it happened. She would have to show she hasn't actually pled anything other than journalistic privilege, which we know has been said hasn't been deemed she's a journalist. And interestingly enough, the qualified privilege or the privileged defence actually failed for defamation for this case. So they did not get the journalistic privilege win. They got it based on the truth defence. So with the truth defence, they actually had to pull out all the dirt. And this is why I think 7M aren't really worried, because because how is she going to prove all of her allegations? That's really what she would have to prove them to a balance of probability, that he was trafficking women and that he was doing this and that he was doing that. And she just can't say a friend of a friend told me or I have sources. She's going to have to show proof. So settling for KJ is still my best advice. But anyway, let's forget that. So he made the ruling. So in 2022, the criminal trial in the ACT collapsed due to juror misconduct. Well, she's not relying on she would to rely on the truth defense, Peter. She actually has to have some evidence to prove it. She hasn't even listed a defense other than the fact she's a journalist. That's been her only defense. Seen the reports. So during defamation, the court heard Mr. Lehrmann had access to sensitive material obtained during his abandoned criminal trial, but was not made public because it was never used in open court. So there was some and some text messages. And during the hearings, former 7 Network producer Taylor Orbach told the court Mr. Lehrmann had passed the information. If it was true, breach what's called the Hearn versus Street obligation. He denied under oath that he did it, but the judge has, Mr. Lehrmann has denied providing the material, and the network denied to reveal its source. So therefore, his Honour said, well, if you're not going to reveal it, then it has to be him. So and the DPP is also so it's unlikely he's going to face that. It doesn't look like they're going to charge him again or take him to a second trial for that case. So the other interesting thing here is that the Guardian has explained here that these legal fees could cost him up to $10 million. How does a 24-day civil trial end up costing so much, and who gets the money? Between $8 million and $10 million in legal costs for the Bruce Lehrmann defamation trial is eye-watering. Now, you did have Channel 10 having one of the top barristers in Australia representing them, and Lisa Wilkinson having one of the another top barrister. So they had probably the two best, in the top five best barristers representing them. So on Tuesday, federal court released the party submissions ahead of a hearing scheduled for May 1. No figures were mentioned, but legal experts have estimated the total cost to be as high as $10 million. But this headline-grabbing case is exceptional. Legal experts say the millions spent is no surprise, but it's exceedingly rare. For starters, an applicant, Lehrmann in this case, would have a raft of fees for a single day in federal court, including a hearing fee of at least $5,000, transcript fee of $3,000, a senior counsel for $10,000, junior counsel for $3,000, and 2 solicitors for $8,000. Now, in Australia, to be able to represent in the Federal Court of Australia, you have to be a barrister, and a barrister is someone who doesn't practice. They are a specialist. They do all the work they do all the bar work. They do everything at the bar. The solicitors or the lawyers, they do all the background work, write the documents, do the initial consultation. They brief the barrister. So any instructions that the barrister gets comes from the lawyer who talks to the client. So, senior counsel and junior counsel. And then they usually have a senior counsel and a junior counsel, as well as 2 solicitors. Defamation doesn't always rack up this quantum of costs, and often don't. In so-called backyard defamation cases involving non-famous people, there might be one less expensive lawyer because the client can't afford Sue Chrysanthou. So Sue Chrysanthou, who acted for former project host Lisa Wilkinson, commands $8,000 a day for every day in court. With her solicitor, the bill is $12,000, and that's before any prep days. So an $8,000 a day barrister. The key to the cost of the Lehrmann Network 10 Lisa Wilkinson case is on the federal court site in a long list of exhibits. There are more than 1,000 exhibits, including hours of CCTV footage, as well as audio and video recordings, photographs, dozens of affidavits. If you think every piece of single exhibit is a piece of evidence, to check whether it can be used as evidence or if it's privileged, then talk to their superior about it. You'll see how much time was involved in terms of human time. In Network 10 submissions filed on Tuesday, there were 3 names at the end of the 14-page document, listed in order of seniority, starting with Dr. Matt Collins. Each one has to be paid for hours they put in the case. Legal experts say every day in court, 10 would have paid for a transcript at $3,000, Collins at $12,000, junior counsel at $3,000, and on some days up to 5 solicitors at $15,000. Silks, who specialise in defamation, so he can cost in the order of $1,000 an hour, although their counterparts who work in commercial law can command as much as $20,000 a day. Lawyers typically charge per hour. A lot of service industries, that's so for every 5 minutes senior counsel was on their feet arguing the case, that's a lot of time in addition spent behind the scenes by a team of people making it happen. Then these people include solicitors, researchers, administration staff, and experts. Tasks include photocopying, handling exhibits, swearing in affidavits, preparing experts. Now, there's also the expert witness, such as UK-based reader Tim Reedy, who interpreted the CC footage of Brittany Higgins and Lehrmann at the dock, got paid for travel costs. Leading up to the trial is a lot of work to do. In this case, it was estimated to be 20 days for 10, which had to prepare 20 affidavits, while Collins had to prepare his cross-examination of Lehrmann. Lehrmann's legal team, led by Stephen Wybrow, was also familiar with the case, having acted for his client in a criminal trial. His preparation is estimated to be about 10 to 15 days. Wybrow commands about $8,000 a day. On some days in court, Lehrmann had 4 barristers, including increasing the costs. As the applicant has lost the case, he has to pay the costs for the 2 respondents. However, the court has heard Lehrmann has not worked since 2021 and lacks the means to pay. And so it is possible that the network would still be saddled with the bill. So there you go. After all that, they may not be able to get anything out of him. So it's a very, and this is why settling is sometimes better. I mean, if we again look at KJ's case, she's paying every court day. So court documents reveal Bruce Lehrmann refused to offer. He refused the offer to settle. Court documents have revealed Bruce Lehrmann refused an offer to settle with Network 10. And now it's interesting because he did settle with the other parties. The ABC, I think, paid $150,000. I think News Corp paid $200,000. Channel 10 wanted to do a walk away deal. He wanted money from them. They weren't going to pay money. Had refused an offer to settle. So the federal court has now released cost submissions from 10 Mr. Lehrmann. None of the submissions released on Tuesday mention a figure, but Network 10's asking for all costs. Mr. Lehrmann brought the proceedings on a deliberately wicked and calculated basis. The summary says he put Network 10 to the cost of defending this proceeding, which can be, with the benefit of hindsight, described as a clear abusive process aimed at concealing the truth that Mr. Lehrmann barred Higgins. In the submissions, it was revealed Network 10 says a walkaway offer was made to settle on August 31, 2021. The letter says, Peter, it says, didn't KJ's lawyers offer to settle? I believe there was I think the letter says that they would discuss settlement with their client. I think the lawyers were would have been happy to settle, but I think they said it was ultimately up to their client. Oh, yes, and Peter also says, I would imagine last-minute inclusion of Taylor A would not have been left to... he was represented by a lawyer, so she made the arrangements for it. And it was interesting, when they did the subpoenas, they often had the lawyers appear at that point, but all the arguments and all the cross-examination was done by the expensive lawyers. So in the Network 10 says a walkaway offer was made to Mr. Lehrmann on August 31, 2023. The terms of the offer were the proceedings would be dismissed without any admission of liability and that there'd be no audit costs. The letter in which the offer was set out detailed reasons to why it was reasonable and why it should have been accepted. Network 10 gave Mr. Lehrmann until September 15, 2023 to consider, but he rejected it within 2 hours. Mr. Lehrmann's submission on cost states he did not accept that offer because it did not afford him an opportunity for vindication. This was after Mr. Lehrmann discontinued a similar case with News Life Media and journalist Samantha Maiden in May last year, with the company saying a contribution had been made to his legal costs, but no damages were paid. And the ABC settled over a press club address on the day the trial began. The ABC contribution of just over $140,000 was paid into his lawyer's trust account for legal fees. See, he had his legal fees paid by 2 media organisations. They're saying that News Life Media was somewhere around the $200,000. So yes, Mr. Lehrmann's submissions also request compensation, stating that Network 10 embarked on a qualified privilege defence, which was bound to fail, which it did fail, given his court's findings as to the failure of those defences. So they're trying to get money out of him. In their submissions, Wilkinson's lawyer agreed with Network 10 submitting that Mr. Lehrmann should be ordered to pay Mr. Wilkinson's costs. She offered a significant compromise from her perspective in the August settlement, and the cost should consider Mr. Lehrmann's refusal. In April 2023, Mr. Lehrmann also won the right to pursue his claim, even though the usual 12-month time limitation for defamation after the publication elapsed. So, Chrysanthi said Wilkinson's opposition to case progressing past this point had been vindicated by the judge's findings. I think so, yes, because he was originally suppressed in Queensland, and then they won to get the suppression. I think he's still back. I think he's got to do. So anyway, so they've got a court in May, but then the court still then has to. Another issue the court has to grapple with is how much attention should pay towards Lisa Wilkinson's fees. So that one's going to be messy, but I can see lots of similarities in Bruce Lehrmann and Katie Joy, actually, particularly in that arrogance, because he, being a law student, he thought he knew better, and I don't know how that I don't know how that's going to work out with his with his law degree now. I don't know how any of that's going to happen. So, because you have to be of good character, and you have to actually be able to show that you're of good character. I'm going to leave the Katie Joy stuff last, so if you're coming for Katie Joy, she'll be at the end. All right. I want to talk about the federal court. I just need to pull up and see if I can find the order today. So, the e-safe commissioner has got an injunction against X or Twitter over a video that was shown on there, and they've got to take down all instances of the video of X for until the court case in May. It's a bit of there's been a bit of an uproar on it. Some people saying it's a impeachment of free speech. Find a judgment. See what we can find for today. Ooh. I'm just having a look. Gee, there's been some good oh no, Commissioner of NDIS, no. Ooh. I'm just having a look. There's Channel 7 was sued by someone for defamation. It's interesting. I want today's. Hi, bye. Just seeing if the judgment's here on their site. No, they haven't released this judgment. It's not on there. Okay. The internet forever. You'll be there forever and ever. I can see Australia government point of view, but you can also see. Well, what's interesting though, we'll start with this one. The Bishop Ma wants footage of his asset likely to stay online, court hears. So the e-safety commissioner, who is in charge of internet safety, has the responsibility of internet safety for Australians, all Australians. So this is why I say, if in some ways I am safe from Katie Joy, because we have pretty strong internet security things, and there's a jurisdiction thing as well. But she lawyers for X have told federal court they have a statement from Bishop Mama Emanuel saying he wants the footage of his tape to remain online. The court rolled over an injunction directing X to hide some posts featuring the footage worldwide, despite X apparently failing to comply with the original injunction. There was an injunction in August. There's been a battle between X and the government for a while now. They fined X last year, and X hasn't paid. So they'll go back to court in May. So Bishop Mama Emanuel, the victim of the stabbing, says the footage should remain online. The court met again on Wednesday to consider a dispute between the e-safety commissioner, Julie Inman Grant, and social media platform X over attack footage. Ms. Inman Grant issued a legal order to take down a dozen instances of footage posted on X, but X said it was overreach to expect videos to be hidden worldwide. And this is where I'm interested in your opinion on this, because do you think that this should be up there? And I don't know whether you can see my corner. I can see the number one story: no immediate children arrested by counter-terrorism police raids across Sydney. We'll have a look at that, because that's got me interested as well. But lawyers for e-safety took the matter to court, accusing X of defying its order. On Monday, Justice Geoffrey Kennett issued an injunction ordering X to hide the post in question, temporary pending a further consideration. X did not comply. But in today's hearing, ex-lawyer Marcus Hoyne repeated the argument that the global reach of the e-safety commissioner was exorbitant. He argued it was pointless, since footage of the attack had now spread far beyond a few dozen URLs originally identified by the safety commissioner. He suggested it was a case of the Streisand effect, a phenomenon where an attempt to quash something backfires by drawing attention to it. So X has said this is now gone out of has really said it's out of the e-safety commissioner's jurisdiction now, because it's gone worldwide. Mr. Hoyne told the court that the Bishop Emanuel, the victim of the attack, was strongly of the view the footage should stay online. He said Bishop Emmanuel had provided an affidavit to the effect, which he submitted to the court, but the ABC who wrote the article had not seen, and the ABC commented the bishop for a comment. He said X believed the E-Safety Commission's original order needed to be reviewed by the Administrative Appeals Tribunal, which can overturn decisions of government officials. Justice Kenner ordered that the matter be heard again on May 10, a date when X indicated it would be prepared to make more detailed arguments. He considered that his Monday injunction will be extended until that date, but did not directly address X's apparent failure to comply with the original injunction. The injunction applies originally identified by the Safety Commissioner, not to any subsequent posts, including the footage, which is interesting. So the E-Safety Commissioner has the power to demand the removal of Class 1 material. This includes depictions of violent crime, child SOs, and other revolting or abhorrent phenomena that offends against the standards of morality, decency, and propriety generally accepted by reasonable adults. But X resistance has honed in on the question of whether those orders apply to content any in the world or simply to content to Australian users. This is what I'd like to get your opinion on. X argued it was sufficient to geo-block the URLs, hiding them from Australia users specifically. But the lawyers for e-safety argued this could easily be circumvented by Australians using VPNs, which obscures geographical location, and so global action was needed. But ex-owner Elon Musk argued this could have broader implications, allowing any country to control the entire internet. Timothy Webb, a tech law specialist at a law firm, Clayton Yates, said that even if this approach was successful, it would leave the regulator playing whack-a-mole with non-compliant social media platform, since its orders cover specific URLs, meaning it would have to keep issuing fresh orders every time a new person shared the footage. In a statement, a spokesperson for the E-Safety Commissioner noted it may be difficult to eradicate damaging content from the internet entirely, particularly as users continue to repost it. E-safety requires platforms to do everything practical and reasonable to minimise harms it may cause to Australians and the Australian community. So here's your question. Is it overreach? And should it only be blocked in Australia, or should it have a worldwide effect? So that's what I'd like you to know. That's what I would. Now, apparently, under the Online Safety Act, court is empowered to impose a civil penalty. Where was it? For non-compliance with a removal notice. The maximum penalty for a body corporate is $782,500 for each day of non-compliance. The removal notice given to X does not relate to commentary, public debate, or posts about this event, even those which may link the extreme of violent content. It only concerns the video of the stabbing. So that they may, apparently, the removal notice was on the 18th of April. So if they're going to pay $700 and something thousand every day, be a bit of money. So there's the Online Safety Act. We have an Online Safety Act. So as Peter said, I can see both sides of the argument. Yeah, I just don't know. But it is, I think it is is it an overreach though to go after a big entity and try and make them monitor the whole globe, or should it just be for Australians? I have to say I'm a little bit confused myself about it all. So, So, yeah, I'm definitely interested to see what you think and what your thoughts are on that. And this is the thing, how do we stop this? It's an overreach, says Peter. Sharon, I tend to think it's overreach, but I'm not familiar with the video. The video itself is not gory, but it does show someone. It shows somebody. It shows a preacher preaching, and somebody going up to the preacher, and you just see. I would say you don't actually see the act itself. You just see the attack, and then you see people jumping in on top. So, now the Prime Minister has said that I would say, to be honest with you, Sharon, I reckon you see more on TV. My only thing. Musk calls e-safety commissioner chief a censorship commissioner. Well, the PM brands Musk an arrogant billionaire. So yes, so now we've got insults flying everywhere. I was going to say, now we can't see the video to even give it. I can see me taken down after a trial because it could be seen, but then again, it is truth. What happened? Taking it down only in Australia does nothing. Well, it does nothing. Now, here's the other thing. It says why, because we'd had the Bondi Junction incident. Was it the day before? The bot did not rise to the level of class ones. See, I would have thought the Bondi Junction videos were actually more graphic because you actually saw the body of the perpetrator and the after effect. It says the Bondi Junction images did not give rise to the level of class 1 under Australian classification law. It's understood e-safety issued informal notices to the platforms related to imagery from the Bondi attack. One user posted an alert he'd received from X about 3 tweets related to the attack, which X declined to remove after being asked by e-safety. Guardian Australia has not verified whether e-safety requested that the post could be removed. So X says you must not post media that is excessively gory or share violent or adult content within live video or profile or header images. It says users may not threaten, incite, glorify, express the diet. So we had one case where in one state they don't report, but it's reported in every other state. VPNs, yeah. So in some, the company said it was complying with the directive pending legal challenge. It would face the fines of. It will pay the fines. It's happy to pay the fines. So as I said, the controversy has led to bipartisan support for the commissioner against X. The Assistant Treasurer Stephen Jones said the government was prepared to fight a legal challenge, while the opposition leader Peter Dutton indicated support for beefing up the e-safety's powers. Oh, I guess, Peter, there'll be no. I guess there'll be. That's where all the budget surplus is going, right? E-safety is now seeking X to force X to comply with the notice. So the e-safety commission doesn't have any powers in relation to misinformation. The government is planning to introduce legislation this year that would empower another regulator, the Australian Communications and Media Authority, with the ability to ensure that tech platforms take strong action against misinformation on their sites. The coalition has been opposed to the bill, but since the events of last week have indicated they would support a revised bill expected this year. So not only is there going to be government regulation for misinformation, so I said, I think if it's the video that I have seen, that I saw last week, I would not have thought that that was any more graphic than what I had seen with the Bondi stuff. And it was on a live stream. I mean, people saw it live. But I you know, where does it end though? At what point? And is it one person So 100% increase of reporting for tech companies, zero reporting and 100% of. That's right. Actually, the guy that put that on X, the guy that asked that question, I saw that today. That was, I mean, they did. They had the Reece Kershaw is the Australian Federal Police Commissioner, and he was asked about the reporting for tech companies, and he said there's been 100% increase in the reporting of tech companies, and 100% reporting, 100% of zero is 100% is zero. So yeah, it's quite funny. But they have a voluntary system. So look, it's all going to be now I'm going to give you a video that if you haven't watched, I watched it today because I was home today, and I have to be honest with you, I still don't feel amazing. I don't know why I don't feel like amazing. I finished all my antibiotics, but it's still all a bit yuck. But I was watching a video today, and I'm just going to find it and I'm going to share it. Now it actually gives you a very good background, but not concerned all about Amy violence. Well, that's a good point, Bo. Why? Why is that the case? As I said, if you pay, no tech company is going to report unless they absolutely can't resolve. Just exactly, Peter. The issue that I've got is that I could go and play Payday, right? I could go and play Payday, which is a lot more violent than I saw on than what I saw on that video. You know, but yeah, is it overreach? But the government, as I said, it looks like that the government and the opposition are doing it. But I will just say, I think we've got a budget coming up, and it's there's our state budget's going to be cut. Everything's going to be cut. Now I'm posting a video. This is from Southern Mutton. She did this video, and if you are new to Katie Joy or you've forgotten what she's all about, she actually takes it through. Is Katie Joy of Without a Crystal Ball the most disliked creator? And she's listed her sources here. She's used some stuff from John Yates, some from Reddit, from Llama Girl. Apparently it breaches their classified 1, which is violence, Sharon. Yeah. And her it says, who is Katie Joy, from gossiper to journalist? And she actually shows instances where she said that she's a blogger, where she says she's not a journalist, where she says she's a reporter, and where so how the narrative has changed. So it's a really good one, just to bookmark. I'll also put it in my in the underneath, so that we can grab it. But yes, go and watch it, because it's a very good one. I'm just going to put this in the box here of information that we're going to accumulate. So all right. So Peter, you still can't use your other your other name. If she isn't, it is only because she has. The other. Oh yeah, I remember that. I don't think that's there. All right, we've got to go back a bit, because oh, there's my video. All right, so apparently she has come out and has admitted that she's got mental health issues. So let's just go here. Yeah, look, as I said, I didn't think it was. What was shocking was seeing a guy attacked in the middle of a sermon. That's really what it was. That's what it was for me. But then I already knew what was coming because I'd read the headline and they said, this is going to happen. It's a community post, is it? No? Oh. Yes. All right. And there's also some deleting gone. Her comments about Shin have disappeared, strangely enough, too. All right. Okay. Apparently, Joanna, she did a video on Joanna, and she criticized.
Someday she'll say, yes, I'm on meds for this. I don't know if she'll ever admit that. To date, we haven't heard any of them really talk about medication. I will just say from my own experience that medication has changed my life, and I was and grew up.
I'm assuming that sound's been added. I don't think that was. So I think Balls has done this, hopefully.
In a culture and in a family that was.
Okay, so she said, I shared this photo and it's worth a share. Growing up, I was not taken to the doctor to deal with my crippling anxiety, intrusive thoughts, impulse control, insomnia, obsessive compulsive disorders. Instead, I was forced to try natural remedies to calm my mind and fears. I had a million candles, incense, soft lighting, classical music, deep breathing, meditation. I was gifted books on how to meditate away my anxiety. For some people, that does help. For some people, you have to have a combination of things. If I couldn't sleep as a kid, I would full love. Oh, Balls is classic. You should see what else she's got done. Oh, that's why I like sharing. And I'll also put her Twitter handle in there so you can follow on Twitter. I would find myself at the top of the stairs crying for my parents. Instead of comfort, I was met with a firm hand of multiple spankings until I cried myself to sleep. The stigma of mental health still plagues my family. I wish it wasn't this way. I wish I'd have the support that I needed instead of pseudoscience techniques that only offered immediate or short-term hope. The stigma of mental illness has made so many people afraid to treat themselves or their children. Religion hasn't helped by claiming mental illness is caused by the devil.
Very against meds, even though some of my, extended family was more okay with it. It was just not something that was really in my own immediate family. And there was a lot of resistance around it and shame around it. And so for me to seek help and go get treatment was against the grain of what I grew up in. And I know what it feels like to have to go up against everything that you've learned.
So this was a video about Joanna that turned into a video about me, about her experience. Okay.
Learned because you think if you can just do everything on your own, you'll get better. And I know, like Joy, I hit a breaking point and I had to get on meds. And even most recently, I hit a breaking point and had to get my meds increased and changed because I wasn't doing well. And that takes a lot of courage to share publicly for her, for me. I mean, it's something that I still feel at times shame about because it's like I'll get negative comments and I'll be called crazy, so you try not to draw attention to it.
Jesus, so I need to take that back again. So I got distracted by a phone call. So she said she has actually said that she's
at times shame about because it's like I'll get negative comments and
so it says she says, oh please, you call him a light now, but referred to him as a racist not so long ago. Remember, Katie, we remember you're a vile human being now using his death for your own financial gain. Get those clicks in, ladies. She's banking on it. It's what I call a swamp whore, profiting off a dead person. Why don't you tell the subscribers that you've left all the toxic S you've talked about your kid. Now you want to pretend you're a fan. You have spread every lie, toxic, that you could come out of your mouth about this family, Garrison included. You neglect your own child in order to spread your vile lies about this family. That's right, Katie. I'm going there. We've seen the videos where you are live and tell everyone to keep quiet as your child screams in the background for his mother, and you smirk about it where you said you believe your child could commit murder. We remember, Katie. We remember when you were going to make his death about you, because we all know when there's a tragedy, you manipulate it and twist it. So you are the victim. When, Katie? When? You are lower than pond scum. You need to sit down and shut the F up. If I was the Brown family, I would sue the F out of you and own everything you have, your kid included. I wish the same compassion and empathy as you've shown this family and all the others you've pocketed money off by spreading your vile lies. Wake up, people. This woman is the scum of the earth. She is the lowest of the lowest, a Satan worshipper of sorts. Satan's mouthpiece, as she's referred to herself. Remember, Katie, we remember. Wake up, people. Quit feeding this swamp whore. Hit the unfollow button and put an end to this once and for all. Don't worry, Katie. I will save you big time by hitting that unfollow button myself. Spot on, couldn't have said it better myself.
I'll be called crazy.
You're a waste of space. Leave this family alone. You're gross, and I never understand people who enjoy your content and don't see your media tactics. You are gross. Holy cow, how many manic posts can you create in a day to cash in on this family's grief? Your fake empathy is disgusting. Now leave this family alone to let them grieve in peace. She said Garrison was a racist, but now he's dead. She's sad. Maybe she can take her share of accountability in this, since she has done nothing but harass and monetize off this family since day one. So I'll take this back a bit.
Because it's like, I'll get negative comments and I'll be called crazy, so you try.
I'll be called crazy. If you need to, she wrote, if you need to speak to someone and need to help, please call. If you need resources after leaving polygamy, hope after polygamy, holding out hope are available to help. I apologize. I said Gabriel was known when I met Garrison. I am gutted by the news. And someone said, hey, KJ, this is not the time to put Cody and Robin down. Come on, we all know they suck and they are trash, but this is not the time. Damn. Stop putting this on anyone. These people have lost a child. Can we just empathize? All the best to the entire family.
At times shame about, because it's like, I'll get negative comments and I'll be called crazy, so you try not to draw attention to it.
I'll let you, hopefully you can see those. I'll let you see those for yourself. Oh dear.
But then at the same time,
look at these comments.
If you hide it, then you're, not being truthful. You know what I mean? And you're,
oh, that's laugh. She's going to laugh.
Not being truthful. You know what I mean? And you're helping the stigma increase. And if I've learned anything in the last month, especially with covering really significant cases around death due to mental health, it's
so bodies change with age and meds need to change with it. The screen got me. You should have seen me. I nearly jumped out of my chair. Anyone need to go change their undies?
Due to mental health, it's more important than ever that we speak about mental health and getting help, and that it's okay to get help. And so for that, I commend her. So she's not doing okay right now, but she should hopefully get better.
Oh, that was funny. So then she's got this one. So she says, breaking news, Katie Joy admits she has mental health issues and picking her skin. She has admitted that. So this is, she wrote here, hey friends, just want to share some want to be super transparent. And this obviously has been deleted because I can't find it. About my specific diagnosis. I'm diagnosed with ADHD, PTSD, generalized anxiety, panic disorder, insomnia, and comorbid OCD tendencies with the ADHD. I've never been depressed until this past year. My doctor said that is a sign of your ADHD not being properly treated while on meds. It can cause depression. Since last May, I've had arachnophobia. Is that agoraphobia? So she's put there that she's got agoraphobia. Now, is that the one where you can't leave your house? And as I said earlier, I'm actually wondering whether she's put that in there so that she can say that she can't go to court in person because she's got agoraphobia. But anyway, since last May, I've had I have been agoraphobic, anxious, depressed, and very overwhelmed about being seen. It started with the staph infection, but it morphed into a full-blown mental health issue. I'm on the mend. I'm 4 days on my new dose. I'm already feeling like myself, minus the picking. It's getting better. It takes about a month or so for the new dose to fully work with me. Postpartum, I was never diagnosed with depression. I was already being treated for GAD and panic disorder prior to my pregnancy. I was on meds during my pregnancy and postpartum because going off them would have been detrimental to me. My ADHD diagnosis followed extended breastfeeding and finally being able to tackle my mental health. I've been treated for 7 years for ADHD. It's been life-changing for me, but this past year was sure a reminder to me that I need to be more mindful. Correct, Peter. Had no trouble picking up the beamer. I know what it's like to grow up in a family that is resistant to therapy and medication, so it took a lot for me to get help, so I can empathize with Joy, she says. Agoraphobia. Well, hello, Will. Agoraphobia. Well, she put agoraphobic. She said, I have been agoraphobic. It's interesting. She hasn't said I've been diagnosed. She's just said I've been agoraphobic. Doesn't stop you from, but the judge just said she wants everybody in person. So it's either going to be she's agoraphobic or there's going to be an issue with her son. She'll try and get out of it. So this is part of the video. So then she's put here, ADHD cases have climbed significantly in the 1990s. Here are some potential factors. Doctors were able to diagnose ADHD more effectively. More parents were aware, and more children were developing ADHD. Didn't her father run a prison program that would include? I thought he did. I thought he did, Peter. Well, and also for being OCD, her house isn't clean, tidy either. But I mean, I can't really talk, but yes. So then she shared this again about the mental illness thing and the books and stuff. Oh. Okay, and then this is the I'm sorry. It's supposed to be on the block. I don't know how it keeps getting through. I had do not disturbed on, but obviously I'm being disturbed. Do not disturb. All right. And then she says here, I've got ADHD. I'm being treated for 3 years while still struggling with impulse control after my meds wear off at night. I've learned this past year. Hoarders can have OCD too. So yeah, it's on do not disturb. I'm turning my phone off. I'm really sorry about that. My phone's gone off. Okay, I've turned my phone off so no one can contact me. All right, so then these are the articles. Her OCD. This is one of her. Is this one of her Pathos articles? Oh, yes. So then here's the article when I was on the verge of becoming an alcoholic mum. So she's sharing that those articles. All right. Oh no, I know who it is, Lulu. I know who it is, and they can wait. And technically, they should be in bed anyway. So I'm just pausing these so you can have a look at these. There he is. Hello, Harrison. See, I told you I knew who it was. I had to turn my phone off, Harrison, because you kept ringing me. That's right. Bo said, Harrison, go to bed. I said, yeah, that's right. Oh, no, I was going to say, it's not important. It's Harrison. See, when I don't answer my phone, he checks to see if I'm live. And he's got no school tomorrow anyway, because it's a holiday tomorrow. So then we've got this here. So then she's talking about her ADHD. She said she's talking about Gabby. So this is 2021. I don't know I can't remember who Gabby was. I've learnt this year not to go live or post when I know I won't be able to focus, which is why you won't see me live much anymore. This was in 2021. ADHD can cause a lot of damage that can feel humiliating the next day. The shame and the guilt I felt over my own actions have been hard to deal with at times. Well, that's why we've had the deleted messages. And there's the picking. Was it Gabby Hanna? Oh, yuck. I didn't know that was there. 2 months later, this beast came from under my skin. It's been inflamed almost a month ago. I got it out. It wouldn't budge today. Came out with a serious tug. It ran across the top of my eyelid near my eyebrow and had it contorted into a mass. This is one piece, and another piece came out after. So those 400, no plastic surgery, just a massive long eyebrow hair that was ingrown. And the hair was about 1/2 inch long. My next goal to leave the wound alone. And now, so I wonder if that was what that was. Well, you're not going to bed till midnight. That was do you remember that one? For those of you asking why my eye is visible this is mainly scar tissue that's left over from staph infection. There's no wound, no infection, nothing injured. If you think the swelling is bad now, you should have seen it 2 months ago. That's why I wasn't on camera. You know what? She'll use that. She'll use that also as a reason why she can't go out. I have no timeline for coming back on camera. The eyebrow is healing in one area but inflamed in another. I'm not rushing anything. I didn't have plastic surgery. I have a huge scar on one part of the active and an active inflammation on another. Please be patient. I hate this as much as you do. Bottom line, I'm not going on camera when I don't look my best or even presentable. Okay, so then and then someone wrote, Joanna is clearly unfit to be a parent. And then someone says, extremely. She's calling. Ask her that hair would not be that straight. I'm short and I'll have to ask her. I'm certain about that. She took forever to be. Well, that's right. And I believe that she delayed it for a long time. So remember this. My greatest fear for my son is ending up like Corey Johnson, committing a crime because intellectually he doesn't understand the magnitude of what he's done. My son's IQ is only 5 points different than Corey. He's easily manipulated and vulnerable like Corey. The system failed Corey. This was the 14th of January, 2021. The internet's forever. So it says he had an IQ, the I was incorrect, and that his IQ is even lower, within the range of 70 to 75. So if she's saying that his was only 5, did she mean 5 higher or 5 lower? Now, and then she talks about it. Balls has got all the receipts here, because she talks about him. When I sit in meetings, I know they're trying their best. She says, she said, due to his verbal capabilities and his normal intelligence, he's too high functioning for the smaller special education rooms. So in this article here, she said he's got normal intelligence, but here she's saying that he's got low IQ. Now, this is where this gets interesting, because I can share this. Because she's brought out the shield. Okay, so she's done this. Can't let April pass without a quick post about autism acceptance. I used to buy into the idea that autism needed awareness, but I learned that non-profit fueling this agenda had one goal: to eradicate people with autism. Autism Speaks encouraged the word to use the puzzle piece and brainwash society to believe people with autism could be perfect one day. She posted this a day ago. Yeah, I know. If the missing piece was found. Their goal was genetic research to fully eradicate autism. They want a society without autism. They push propaganda for dangerous cures that do not and will not cure a child or adult. People with autism are not missing puzzle pieces. They are diverse and see the world in a different way, in a way that is different. This does not mean they're missing anything. As a mama of an autistic boy, I'm so grateful that he's perfectly unique. His passion for dinosaurs, video games, and learning are unsurpassed. He's empathetic, sensitive, and loving. He's a kind-hearted child that has friends that love him for who he is and not what he is. Acceptance is the key. We must accept that not everyone fits into the stereotypical box. Neurodiversity and neurodivergence fuels creativity. Eminem, aka Marshall Mathers, was diagnosed with autism as a child. His ability to write lyrics makes him the most successful rapper of all time. I want to live in a world where acceptance and not eradication is what we push. Autism acceptance. So, this is why I'm saying she's brought the shield out, because if you actually look at her, the post about shins disappeared. It's gone. It's gone. So, and that's really all she's posted on here in the last couple of days, other than she's gone back to her sister wives because her views have been taken. So, as I said, she's brought the shield out because now she's brought out the information on her son. And then she posted this. And then she said, Ball said, credit to the Discord for these screenshots. Katie Jo's the most ableist claim I've seen. What a slap in the face of families that would do anything to help their children instead of hitting them. So now this is all about autism. Some people say that autistic kids are disabled when in fact they're gifted with abilities that the world can't seem to understand. I know quite a few autistic adults and children that are incredibly intelligent and have abilities I can only dream of having. She said, then she says, while this may be true, high IQ children with autism is not the norm. Most people with autism do not have IQs. Many are nonverbal with intellectual disabilities. They have a disability. This does not mean that they aren't intelligent in specific areas or that they are any less capable, but I don't think discounting the challenge for some individuals or their caretakers is helpful. Then someone says, no, it's not true. It's a spectrum. There is no most. In fact, having a highly intelligent is why many women, including myself, were initially misdiagnosed with mood and personality disorders. We are intelligent and expert maskers. Diagnosis can take years or never at all due to this. You are referencing out-of-date material that is harmful. Women and girls display different symptoms than men and boys. I highly recommend doing more research. There is actually a most, because percentages do not lie. 31% of children with autism have an intellectual disability. 25% are in the borderline range for intellectual disability. Oh, no. So then we go back to 2019. My son struggles with emotional regulation and social interactions. I definitely understand the straightforward, no filter. I'm not neurotypical, though. I have a diagnosis that isn't neurotypical. My son is autistic. Have you missed that part? I know the struggles and the great rewards. My son, autism, gives him amazing gifts. So amazing. I'm sorry if my comments were insensitive. My son is autistic. I get it. I'm sorry for offending you. I am. We love autism daily. He's the greatest kid in the world. Did you hear what I said? My child is autistic. I am ADHD with sensory issues. Same with my husband. Sorry for offending you, but this was taken out of context. So that was in 2019. Do you think many of these incels are either mentally ill or autistic? I've noticed tons of autistic men in these forums. Oh, I am not. And trust me, I'm not. My son is autistic. It was not something I noticed in the forums. So, and then she said, this was Mary Allen and Robert's graduation message to Katie Joy. They sound horrible. This was her, Katie, dancing on the beach, sparkling eyes, hair flying. Love and luck as you leave us. Do good things. We're proud of you, Katie Mansky. There we go. So they're the receipts that Balls has presented to us. The snarky stuff as well. And I'm going to put her X account in there. Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. Yes, I have noticed that too. Her picking at herself could be. Oh, it could be autistic symptoming. It could be. Yeah, it could be. That would definitely make sense. But she hasn't been. She's saying she hasn't been diagnosed with that. Yeah, somebody else picked up what happened to. Oh yeah, what happened to the. There's been some dirty deleting. The other thing that happened, that Trace and Lydia Bates discussed the harm without a crystal ball. So let's have a look at this, because this is pretty bad, I think. I haven't seen it. I just love the new video. Look at the more videos down the bottom.
Really took a turn for the worse that made everything really a lot more difficult was right after that week where you shared that, and someone that we don't know, but we put our lives out there so people can say, we're influencers.
People get are invested, and then they like to let us know how
so they can say what they want. But they took what Lydia said, and Lydia did not word it in the best way.
I was very sleep deprived, and
and then Balls has edited this. So this is a Balls video. You think this is the video why the child shield came out? Yeah, so this looks like this is Balls, because Balls has done the editing.
Looking back, I realized I shouldn't have said it the way I did. But in my head, I was just updating all the people that have been asking how I'm doing, and I didn't really think much about it.
You worded it bad, but what was we were told, and we were still doing everything right. Feeding them. You were able to get sleep because we had help here. There was.
So you think that's why the shield video came out? I just love the video in the bottom left. we certainly don't look at them as disabled, more like different abilities. Oh, look, and it makes the world interesting. I think. I mean, we have somebody at church that we believe is on the spectrum, and he is. There is a spelling mistake anywhere, he will find it.
Tons of milk in the fridge, and he was still eating every 2.5, 3 hours, no matter what. And someone made a post, I guess, out there on Instagram.
Oh, look, there she is. Someone made a post. Trace and Lydia Bates have been underfeeding their newborn so badly they lost a ton of weight. She took him to the pediatrician, and they told Lydia to feed Riker for every 2.5 hours. He was born on September 12, 2023. Lydia complained that waking up at night and having to feed him every 2 hours is really hard, so they need family to help. Of course it is. You don't get sleep. He gained a pound in a week, so now Lydia is going to stop feeding him overnight. Newborns and infants up to 4 months, especially those that are breastfed, need to feed every 2 to 3 hours. In their fundie circles, many families follow a book called Baby Wise, pushes feeding and sleep schedules that are not practical or safe for infants. This has led to severe failure to thrive in babies. I actually use I have to tell you, the disclaimer here, I actually use the Baby Wise books because it actually talks about play, sleep, feed, sleep, play schedule. And my children, particularly my son, he was a routine he loved a routine, and so this worked. Infants do not have a big enough stomach to hold enough food to sleep overnight at 2 weeks old. Lydia is facing deportation and openly discussing neglecting her child. Some people should not be parents. Feeding your child is literally the bare minimum. For those claiming this is mum shaming, please exit left. Please exit left. This is 100% neglectful, and the baby will end up underweight.
Instagram or whatever, and saying that we were neglecting our child, not feeding our child.
And the other thing is, what do you do if your child sleeps overnight? If your child goes to sleep, I mean, I know that when mine slept, I'd sleep, and if they wake up, I'd wake up when they wake up. So if my kids slept 4 hours, then I slept 4 hours. Gee whiz.
And that you were not a good mother. We were having people emailing or DMing us in a comment saying that
the person basically told all of their followers to go call child services on me.
Oh, isn't that disgusting? I called Teen on Lydia and Trace. I gave them IG information, ages, and general information for both Trace and Lydia. They took the report, and not even an hour later, I got an email saying they couldn't be found. It's like they don't even try and find them. Have they? Got married in Jefferson City. I checked on Google. I don't know which area they live in at this stage. Wow. There's no better joy than having your child sleeping through feed. They sleep through feed because they aren't hungry. Correct. I do remember waking up in the middle of the night realizing I hadn't fed a child and went to see whether it was still okay. So I think we've all been there.
Supposedly not feeding.
Yeah, and
reaching out.
And then after, the things that she...
I agree with her. I am not saying beat your children. What we have been witnessing on TV in the past months of the teens leading stores and students makes you wonder how those children, where those children's parents. How could they not know where they are and they weren't part of those things happening? Our country's dying, as if parents that teach our children at least have accountability for their actions. I've been told, and she says, hello, CPS.
Not feeding.
Yeah, and then
reaching out.
And then after, the things that she did say, the person did delete those first posts about that, so she'll now claim that she didn't tell people to do that. But we had a bunch of people saying they're calling DHS on us because we're not feeding our child. And of course it wasn't true because
We won't talk about the wet sheets, the wet shirts and sheets. Because, well, that's right, I had that too. Oh dear.
We were doing exactly what the pediatrician told us to do. They said everything was right. He was very healthy. And
we literally had people here whose whole purpose
was just to feed him.
To make sure every time he makes a sound that he gets changed, fed, and held.
So then all of a sudden, like on my Instagram, on Lydia's Instagram, and she also is a photographer, so her phone number's out there. She was getting threats saying you shouldn't have been a mother. Go back to your country. You shouldn't have.
There you go. Look at that. Why are they allowed to get the child? These people are sick in the head. There are people who badly want to have children, and for one reason or another can't. They would happily feed a baby every 2.5 hours. The system is failing this baby. And then she says, they are feeding the baby now. It was literally her words in her post. The baby doesn't need to be taken.
It's all the deportation stuff in between.
Just cussing out and just saying terrible things.
And then here, you told Tracy Bates that his family had to come to the United States because they had no options in Europe due to homeschooling, due to language barriers. This is false. Austria's official language is German. The country also borders Germany, and homeschooling is legal. The two countries share most of the same cultural traditions, language, and history. It would not have been difficult for them to move to Austria to homeschool. Both countries are members of the European Union. Citizens of the EU have the right to move throughout Europe and live wherever they wish. Erie admitted that they bypassed numerous countries because entering illegally in New Zealand or Australia would have taken years. So instead, they opted to go to the USA under false pretenses of asylum. They did this to bypass immigration visa requirements and laws. They had no reason to come to the USA other than wanting to come. They're huge allegations that she's made.
And this is a first-time mother that is doing everything she can.
Tracy Bates' father-in-law told on himself during a Q&A about his citizenship. He admitted that the family had no means to ever become a citizen in the United States after they were denied asylum. He said he pulled his kids out of school due to parental rights, not religious freedom, which is the opposite of what he told the courts 11 years ago. He argued the courts in 2012 that he was persecuted due to his faith and homeschooling belief. Because the courts denied his requests, because he wasn't persecuted at all, he had to find other ways to become a citizen. He and his wife had 2 more kids, which he says here that he hoped would get citizenship through. He also admits that they hope to obtain citizenship through his married children that married US citizens. It appears he and his wife were hoping to have anchor babies would save them. They hope they may have arranged marriages of their adult kids in the hopes they could get citizenship through them. I have a hunch that USA immigration saw what was going on and could see that they were looking for ways to bypass their deportation order and rescind the deferral. The referral was never promised as infinite or forever, and it meant other people could be processed for deportation before them. Yeah, well, particularly now when we're hearing people talk about how the effect that it all had on
terrible things. And this is a first-time mother that is doing everything she can. She has wonderful help, wonderful support. She has my mother that's had 19 children. Her mother's had 7 children. Mm-hmm. So we had a pediatrician that's telling us to do everything, and we were doing exactly what we were told. And I feel like that was the most stressful, and that sent you back into, you got sick, you got mastitis again, you're running a fever, and this is all
so sad
because of stress. And then next thing we know, we're getting phone calls from like Good Morning America, different newslet people saying that, do we have any comments on us neglecting our child and not feeding our child?
What? Through Romaki's Instagram story is no longer visible, reality TV blogger Katie Joy Paulson saved the clip and posted it on her account without a crystal ball. In her YouTube bio, Paulson describes herself as being known for her coverage of fundamental Christians debates, like the Duggars from TLC's 19 Kids and Counting are fundamental being. Some people should not be parents. Feeding your child is literally the bare minimum. Paulson wrote in a lengthy and scathing post. In her caption, she also claimed that breastfed newborns and infants up to 4 months need to eat every 2 to 3 hours. But I thought the kid was being fed every 2.5 hours, so that's within the time frame. For those claiming this is mum shaming, please exit left. Paulson continues. This is 100% neglectful, and the baby will end up underweight. Romike did not risk.
And the next thing we know, we're getting phone calls from like Good Morning America, different newslet people saying that, do we have any comments on us neglecting our child and not feeding our child? And of course it was all untrue. And they even came out with an article, and in the article they asked, a pediatrician, are they doing anything wrong? And they said, no, they're doing exactly what their doctor said. After we
So it says, so let's go back here. All right, so we had this one. We are doing exactly what the pediatrician told us to do, Trace wrote in a direct message. He's gained a ton of weight and he's a very healthy baby. Then we've got this one. Dr. J. Lovenham, a pediatrician in West Orange, tells today that Robinson has done nothing wrong. I tell parents to feed their baby every 2 to 3 hours in the daytime and every 3 to 4 hours at night for the first 2 weeks. And then after that, if the baby gets back to their birth weight and sleeping at night, we let them sleep. So who do you believe? The blogger or the pediatrician?
Anything wrong? And they said, no, they're doing exactly what their doctor said. After we let the news article that, hey, this is not actually
we
true.
decided to respond on it. Usually we try to ignore the haters and not really respond, but that was like hitting the news. So we're like, we should make sure they know that.
Well, for 2 days,
that's ridiculous.
Lydia really couldn't get on her phone because I'm talking about.
I literally deleted every app off my phone because every time I went.
Looks like Chase Bates. Well, we know who else can't handle opinions, eh?
On there, it was just people telling me I'm a terrible mom. I shouldn't have kids. I'm abusing my kid. That I don't deserve to be a mother.
Go back
which
to
I feel like is the worst thing that you could say to someone.
Yeah, there's just the first
because
time
I knew it wasn't true, but like, how am I going to respond to like hundreds of thousands of people?
And you can see that it's still. I mean, it's obviously was very hurtful.
Literally emailing me that I don't deserve to be a mother and I should go back to a country I belong, which that was its own little thing. But I was getting so much hate and people hate.
Neither Lydia or family were persecuted in Germany. They were not granted asylum for a reason. And they stayed in the US despite knowing that they were not residents and would not ever become residents. Now they are playing to the media again as victims of persecution of a fully developed and thriving government called Germany. Somehow my posts sharing my opinion about Lydia's public statements that were extremely concerning and her concerning choices in the last weeks of interest to the media. Given that I am massively outspoken critics of the IBLP and have reported damaging details about Gil Bates and the IBLP this week, I don't feel it's a coincidence that media outlets are now coming for me over my opinions about Trace and Lydia. Trace and Lydia are public figures and my criticism and opinions are allowed. I stand by my opinions about the cult that they are connected to, which is the IBLP. It's beyond obvious what the IBLP is doing.
That I don't deserve to be a mother and I should go back to a country I belong, which that was its own little thing. But I was getting so much hate and people hating on me literally, A, being in this country, and 2, having a baby, which
Romney told Trace Bates that his family had to come to the United States. Oh, well, no, she's done that again.
They claimed I didn't take care of, and I was like, my baby is so happy. I'm like holding him.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's so crazy, but like, it was just so depressing, and I had just gotten into a good place, and then I ended up getting fever. I got mastitis again, and then it took a while for me to recover, and I was like, honestly, I have to fully get off social media and delete everything. And I didn't want, like, I was not answering phone calls because there's news people asking why I'm not feeding my child.
Which is sad.
And I was
because
like,
it's
Trace, I can't.
it was
can't do it.
very untrue. Like,
There's so many people that are actually like out there being bad parents and doing like crazy things. I was like, why make up stories about me when I'm just literally doing nothing wrong?
Then the same person tried to compare you to someone that has abused children and was saying that you were similar to that.
There was a huge story around that time about someone who actually sent jail and actually really was an awful parent and abusing their kids. But I was like, why would you compare me to that?
No comparison at all.
Because, and then I got so much hate for having help. They were like, how dare you have help? You should be doing it by yourself. Don't make other people do it. And our pediatrician and all our doctors were like, the best thing you can do is have support. Like, even if it's a couple hours a day, have your mom drop in, because it just emotionally helps so much.
I mean, isn't it, having somebody drop in and offer to feed the child for you so you could actually have a rest is one of the best things that could ever happen. Or someone drops in and says, I'll take the baby for a walk for you. You go and have a rest. That is the best. To me, that was the best ever. You know? The UTI, oh yes.
Obviously, after a couple weeks, we had a good routine, and we were, like, at that point, knew how to do everything on our own and how to handle the lack of sleep so much better. But I feel like the biggest thing you can have is support and have your family, and it's a huge blessing, and it's not a bad thing to have your mom or whoever come over. It's also really sweet. They love seeing their grandchild or niece or nephew. Like, it's a sweet time, and it was insane. I can't believe that honestly happened.
I can't either, just because, like, you know, I feel like mama shaming is such a bad thing, and for a first-time mother that is trying to do everything right, that has wonderful help, that is doing exactly what the doctor said, that has.
Well, that's the thing. She calls them all as a cult and trafficking, but there's been no evidence of any of that.
A fridge full of breast milk, a freezer, has help over here to help him through the night, just so she could get sleep, because she was waking up every 2.5 hours, every 2 hours to pump. So Lydia was not getting a lot of rest herself. And to be able to where she could not even look on her phone because they're saying just all kinds of cuss words, and you shouldn't be a mother, and we're calling DHS on you, and all this stuff. Nothing we did was wrong because we were doing exactly what we were supposed to do.
Yeah.
And even the news article, they actually came out and said something about, you know, they were not going to, you know, listen to the person that was reporting all this false information.
Okay, so let's have a look. Some people should not be parents feeding a child, she wrote in a scathing post. Those Ramiki did not respond to the request for comment, but Trace contacted today on Instagram. We're doing exactly what the pediatrician told us to do. Trace wrote, he has gained a ton of weight, and it says, okay. She does actually. It's a very interesting. Is it people? Is she going after people that she believes that she can perceive as worse mothers than her, worse parents than her, so she doesn't feel so bad? I wonder if that's what it is.
It was wrong because we were doing exactly what we were supposed to do.
Yeah.
And even the news article.
Because if she's focusing on them, no one can focus on her. They
actually came out and said something about, you know, they were not going to, you know, listen to the person that was reporting.
So this was 2020. Lydia Romica bringing up Bates. And then Trace Bates was shamed for underfeeding their newborn son, Micah, after she shared his eating schedule on social media. He basically gained 1 pound this week, so now he's all good on weight. He's eating a ton, and we can finally let him through the night, which we're really excited about.
All this false information. We don't even know this person, never met him at all. And yes, I do understand that Lydia did word the story wrong in saying that he lost, because he did lose weight.
He did.
But
from my recollection, they lose weight and then they put it on. I'm sure if I got out my kids' baby books, I'd find that they would have they lost weight. They lose weight when they first come out of hospital, and then they gain it again.
Heard the story wrong in saying that he lost, because he did lose weight.
He did.
But it was very normal.
Every baby usually does.
Yeah, so I think Lydia probably could have worded it better to let everyone know.
It scarred me.
Yeah.
Since then, I still don't share a huge amount on social media, and I was really tempted in completely quitting everything.
In the video, they said he gained it back in 24 hours. Yeah, usually they do gain it back, but they do lose weight, generally.
But at the same time, I was like, well, why should I let one hater just ruin like what I enjoy doing?
Yes, see? I know. I can be very clever sometimes, Peter. Yes. Well, it's interesting because Orthodox Jews, for example, I think they have the mother comes for a month. Well, because and the mother, all the woman does is look after the baby. The mother looks after the rest of the household for that month, because she's also doing her postpartum stuff. I think you're always clever. Well, I mean, when we think about it, I mean, let's look at it. She's gone after the Duggars for the parenting. She's gone after, and then now she went after the Bates. She's gone after the Browns. Remember, she referred to Duggars' kids as crotch goblins. But, I mean, she's the perfect parent, isn't she?
I was really tempted in completely quitting everything. But at the same time, I was like, well, why should I let one hater just ruin like what I enjoy doing? Yeah. So I was like, I'm just going to step back and then Trace handle a lot of it for a while. But it was a hard time. And then I feel like just 2-3 weeks after he was born, it was so different. Everything got so much easier. All of the hate kind of disappeared, but
because she found someone else to hate.
I feel like it was really sad because it's just such a sweet time, that first month with your newborn, and I feel like that was kind of, in a way, taken away from us because we didn't really get to just have a relaxing.
I mean, you can obviously hear the kid in the background too. It's a wonder she hasn't done a video to say that they're neglecting the child, because the child's playing happily in the background.
But now that's like a blur for Lydia.
I don't like to think about it. I just kind of blocked that whole time out, and I feel like I'm very excited to down the road have another child and actually get to enjoy it.
About after 2.5 weeks after all of that, things like Lydia said started to die down. People started realizing that was not true. He was gaining a lot of weight, and then they were like, oh, he also has a lot. The same person said that in every photo that he had jaundice, and our pediatrician said no, he didn't. He just had a...
Oh, here you go. A few days ago, I shared a video of Lydia Bates lamenting about how hard it is to feed your child 2.5. Her child was born very small, jaundice, with several health issues since birth. Most recently had to take the child to ER for disruption breathing, no do. My opinion is that mothers of babies with jaundice need to be extremely focused on regular feeding their babies and should be keeping their health their priority. Lydia's Instagram story was of the tone that basic caring for a child was too exhausting, though she was ill-prepared for motherhood. Who really is prepared for motherhood? Doesn't matter how much you think you're ready for motherhood. And that's interesting because both of my kids were completely different. Lydia and Trace are Christian fundamentalists raised in a cult. I mean, I don't know what this other bit's got to do with it. Trace's father, Gil Bates, sits on the board of the insidious sex cult called the Institute of Basic Life Principles. Both Lydia and Trace were born in a world where children are to be seen and not heard. Fundamentalist women give out books urging new mums to get on a sleep schedule and encourage get on a sleep schedule and encourage not to let their babies dictate their lives. Lydia and Trace from the start of this have been sharing their story over meeting. Lydia and her family also facing deportation and have weeks to leave the US to go back to Germany. They just said that he was... But as I said, that those first 2 weeks are the worst when you're up every single time.
Gaining a lot of weight, and then they were like, oh, he also has a lot. The same person said that in every photo that he had jaundice, and our pediatrician said no, he didn't. He just he was very tan. So there's a lot of weird things that people just claim, that every time we go to our pediatrician, they're like, no, he's very healthy, he's very fine, you're doing a great job, keep up the good work.
We'd go so stressed. We'd be like, is everything okay? Like, are you sure he's not a little torn? So they're like, no, he looks great. And we're like, are you sure? And they're like, yeah. Every time they're like, he looks so healthy, you're doing everything right.
There you go. So this one's got me interested. Oh, this is balls. We're going to have a look at this. Got to look at this. I don't think you're ever prepared. Oh, we look. Oh, well, my question is, did she leave the house to get the meds, or did she do another phone appointment? Looks like Balls is on YouTube now, so I'll post her video. Well, yes, I mean, I also had mine on schedules too, but as I said, I had one that from the moment he was born, they actually said to me, he looks like he wanted to do things in a certain way, so I just let him. Look, I think she's ultimately jealous, and she gets joy from bringing people, knocking people down. I think that's the only way I can do it. Now, I just wanted to have a look at her views, because her views have been dropping because she went back to brown content. But yeah, so her last week, her average was 132,000 views, no, 134,000 views. Well, it's down to 132,000 views, and she's 132,000. And so if we look at the last, so she had on the 21st, she had 121,000. In fact, since the 19th of August, she's had 119, 117,000, 121,000, 99,000, 59,000, and 54,000. Her views have been taking. Well, interestingly enough, she would go after me because I couldn't breastfeed. I was not earning enough. I was not making enough milk for my children. And everything that we did failed. And it turned up that I had to actually supplement mine with formula. And in the end, they discovered they could get more formula, more from formula, so they wouldn't touch the breast. So her last sort of subs increase was the 31st of the 3rd. She's had nothing then. Now, if we go to her video, she'd put on her community tab about how people had been unsubscribed, how she was losing subscribers. Well, she hasn't gained any. So let's go. And then after that, I'm going to head off because it's been nearly 2 hours I've been. Joanna's breaking point. Because, yeah, she had to put a new Sister Wives video up. But, yeah, she's not getting the views. Her views are tanking. So let's go to her community post here. So this was 5 days ago. And this is also when her views started tanking, about 5 days ago. She said, heads up, friends. There have been significant glitches on YouTube this past week. When I'm uploading new videos, the comments are not appearing. Additionally, my subscribers and viewers are receiving errors that they cannot like or comment. I received a message that some of you have been unsubscribing from multiple channels due to the same issue. This is obviously frustrating for you as a viewer. I am sorry. This is frustrating for me as a channel owner because I have no control of technical issues on YouTube. I wish there was a way to better control the situation, but I have to rely on the platform to fix these glitches. In fact, it should be fix these glitches, not this glitch. Anyway. I want to make this post. I just want to make this post to ensure you of a few things. If you left a comment and the comment did not appear, I promise you that I did not delete the comment. We know she deletes comments. If you're unable to like a video, you have not been hidden from my channel or banned from engaging. I generally try not to ban viewers, especially the ones I know are frequent commentators and an active part of this community. All of you mean the world to me as a creator. If you leave a comment currently, there is a possibility that the comment will not show up for hours. Well, actually, you also have to check your restricted comments too, which I do every couple of days. The numbers that appear in there are amazing. Make sure you check your subscriptions for channels that you watch frequently. Double check that you haven't been unsubscribed. I've been told that this issue is not only impacting my channel, but other creators. If YouTube has unsubscribed to a channel, make sure to resubscribe and hit the notification bell. This will ensure that you don't miss any videos from the creators that you love. For now, I wish I could do more, but I promise you that I appreciate all of your engagement on this channel. One of my favorite parts of uploading a video is reading your comments. It's been so disappointing not to be able to connect with you in comments the way that we have become accustomed to in this comment. Please also know that your comments left in this post may not appear as well. Stay patient, my friends. I'm sure this will get sorted out to you soon. Love to you all, Katie Joy. Thought she didn't like being called Katie Joy. Thank you for the heads up. I had noticed an issue commenting on channels. Someone says, I love your podcast. I'm getting my channels back slowly. YouTube seems to be getting things. That's what she didn't say that. Yeah, I think it's taking longer than any of us, but I think it's taking longer than any of us would like. But we don't forget where the truth comes from. You keep it coming, Katie. Because Katie replied to that one. Subscriber counts have not been reported. They are only working on comments. I'm currently reporting out other issues now. So she's complaining that her subscriber count hasn't gone up. So maybe she's bought subs and it hasn't gone up. I had to uninstall YouTube, then reinstall. It's working again. This is happening on desktop versions, not just the app. I use the app on my phone, but until I reinstalled, I couldn't access the channels I was subscribed to. Thanks for the tip. I know many of my subscribers are saying that they've been unsubscribed from channels. So I hope this gets it fixed for everybody. So there you go. So let me just show you somewhere. All right, I'm just going to show you something here. Save this. Yes, her friends. She's got friends now. They're all friends now, hey? So all she would have to do, let me just show you something. I'm going to take you, let's go behind the scenes of, right. So all she has to do is go to comments here. And if you click on held for, oh, look, see? I've got some held for review. And then all I'm going to do, someone's put something there, but that's okay. I don't mind. Like, I don't delete, as you can see, I'm not deleting anything. I just approve it all. But anyway, but yeah, that's all she's got to do. I've just done that. So you literally have to go into those there. But anyway, yes. So yes, you're all friends. Apparently you're all friends now. We're all friends. Anyway. So I'll be back. I'll probably come back on tomorrow at some time. As I said, it's Anzac Day. It's a public holiday. So the morning is generally, as I said, most retail outlets or big retail outlets are closed tomorrow. The little ones are open, petrol stations and stuff. So out of respect of, that's right, out of respect to our armed services. So it's the anniversary of the landing on Gallipoli tomorrow, and it's Anzac Day, and so from about 12 o'clock, everything starts opening again. There's a dawn service in the morning, and there's parades and services all around the country. I believe Queensland and Western Australia might still have their shops shut most of the day. They have a big football AFL match on tomorrow. And that they expect up to about 100,000 there. So it's a big day. And then Fridays, most people, they do it and then they go back to work. But it's a day that we can celebrate and say thank you to the people that served this country, and we get to say thank you to the people that are doing it now. So often the armed forces, the Air Force, the Army, and the Navy are out and about, and we get to say thank you to them. But you just see the faces of the people that were serving in World War II are diminishing, but because there's the Vietnam War as well, that's a big part of it now, and of course there's the Afghanistan servicemen and women, and we want to pay respects to those that we've lost, and we want to thank them for what they've done. I guess it's our version of Veterans Day. Yes, it probably is. We will remember them. Yeah, we had an Anzac. So today, most of the schools had services because they don't do it on the because there's no school. So as I said, all the offices are closed because a lot of people will take their kids in to that. And the Shrine of Remembrance in Melbourne will actually, I think that's open. They'll be ready from the and of course, we also remember that Darwin was bombed in World War II. There was bombing of Darwin. So we got close. I'll just show you. This is where Anzac. So this is where so it's a 5 o'clock. So the Shrine of Remembrance in Melbourne is open from 7 a.m. tomorrow. So it's free admission. There's no bookings. So 5:30 dawn service, Shrine of Remembrance opens, and the march opens. And so the national broadcaster does it. So this is like the Shrine of Remembrance here in Melbourne. There'll be lots of people. You can watch the broadcast. And so this is the Shrine of Remembrance here as well. So yeah, originally a 1915, and the Anzac means an Australian and New Zealand Army Corps given to the body of troops raised by the two countries to aid British Empire in the Great War. Throughout the war, the Australians and New Zealanders the Australians were called diggers, and the New Zealanders were called Kiwis, and they would fight and die alongside each other, creating a bond between the two nations. So Anzac Day is intrinsically linked to the landings of Gallipoli in the Dardanelles Strait on the 25th of April 1915. On this day, Anzac troops were committed to their first major action at the war, and even though the campaign would ultimately prove a bloody failure and leave more than 8,000 Australians dead, it marked the beginning of the Anzac legend. The legend was poignantly put into words by Sir William Deane, Governor-General of Australia, on Anzac Day, 1999. Anzac is not merely about loss. It's about courage and endurance and duty, the love of country and mateship and good humour, and survival of a sense of self-worth and decency in the face of dreadful odds. And so, yes, it's a Shrine of Remembrance. So that's what we do. There's also if you ever get to Melbourne, the Shrine of Remembrance is absolutely beautiful, actually. Absolutely. So it's open every day except Christmas Day and Good Friday. But here it is here as well. It's amazing, amazing place. The history of the shrine. You've got the sanctuary where the tomb of where there's unmarked gravestones to commemorate those that were lost. That fighting in the First War. So every year on Remembrance Day, on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, a ray of sunshine enters the sanctuary to shine on the Stone of Remembrance. That was built specifically for that reason. So there's a light. It's really amazing. There's also a book of remembrance that you can do as well. And then they have lots of memorabilia there as well. So it's going to be a busy place tomorrow. Beautiful place. And Eternal Flame. Every time I see the Eternal Flame, I start singing Bangles. Close your eyes. On the 28th of February 1954, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II stood on a podium in front of 250,000 people and pressed a button to light the Eternal Flame. It's burnt ever since, and it's never gone out. So it's a pretty special moment. So anyway, so that's what we're doing tomorrow. Oh, yeah, Cobbers. So lots of statues, and then that's overlooking Melbourne. So anyway, thank you for joining me. As I said, so tomorrow's our Anzac Day. It's a big day for us. A big day for the veterans. Big day for the veterans. So there's a betting game called Two Up, which technically is illegal every other day except on Anzac Day. And that's where you get 2 coins and Two Up, like it's put into a wooden thing, and they have 2 coins, and you've got to say whether it's going to be heads or tails, and you throw it up. 2 Up. Anzac Day is the only day that you're allowed to play it. So there'll be lots of veterans tomorrow playing two up. So yeah. All right, so I'll probably catch you sometime tomorrow afternoon. But anyway, I want to thank you for joining me. I need to go to bed, and I hope to see you again tomorrow. And until then, I hope you are all safe and well. If you could do me a favor, hit like and subscribe. spread the word. But we're just buckling for some few crazy days, I think. But yes, we'll see what Shield comes out in the next couple of days anyway. Okay, thank you for watching. Bye for now.